Hey guys, welcome again to another episode of the SpaceBro Show. That's right, your one and only Friday night late night podcast that talks all about the awesomeness that is the super duper amazing Star Citizen. And we talk about all the week's development, and we rotate our guests and all the time. And yeah, just have a good time with the bros. That's what we like to do. So without further ado, let's get this thing started. We are here. We are bright and shiny. My camera's all crazy, but that's okay. So hopefully you've had a great week, and we're going to dive through all the stuff. Tonight's special, super special guests, and I don't mean helmet special, but they're still special people. We have with us Mr. This is the scenes changes there. We got Mr. TexasSkulls with us tonight. He's going to be hanging out with us. So there he is. We also have Mr. Kurosaji here hanging out with us. There we go. We got to do this frames, the beautiful awkward where they can't say shit. And then the worst mod in the world, Mr. Toy Grubbin's here with us once again, guys. Hanging out, doing the thing. Let's go ahead and get the show started right about now, guys. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hey, man,
I'm spectacular.
All right.
Doing well.
I think our audio is actually working well, too. I hear it really nice. So
wow.
I think I fixed it. Windows -1, Mitauchi +1. Good. All right.
Windows and audio, man.
There we go. Well, it's always a battle. It's always a battle.
Yes.
So we had an interesting week this week. It didn't have quite as much goodies as last week, but every week can't be the blow it out of the water type stuff. But before we dive into all that, let's go around the room. We'll introduce everybody once again. We'll kind of talk about what they've got going on, what they've been up to this week, and then we'll dig into it. So let's start out with Kuro down here, right below me.
I was just reading quickly what Texas said there, which was so kind. That's wonderful. Don't think I missed that.
Yeah. So what you been up to this week,
right.
man? What's been going on?
Mainly just streaming, of course. When I have any other time, I pretty much am sort of freaking out as how to manage it. But yeah, I have my morning streams and my night streams, and just rocking out in the PU, and then was direly waiting for 2.62, and I guess we'll talk about that later. So yeah, we'll talk about everybody's experiences and stuff and all that stuff. So Texas, how about you, brother? How you been doing this week?
Been doing good, man. I had a vacation 2 weekends in a row. Less so vacation, but a wedding down in Austin, and then I was in Vegas for my grandmother's 90th birthday last weekend.
Wow, nice.
Exciting.
Nice.
But it kind of put me out of streaming for a little bit, so I got like one stream in over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So just kind of getting back into the swing of things this week, really.
Yeah.
So just settling back in.
You need to try that mobile streaming out from down there. Could have got your grandma on camera. It would have been great.
Yeah.
Wow.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so I didn't want to share too much. You know?
Gotcha.
Yeah. But no, I've vowed to try to stream every day between now and DreamHack. So
there you go. There you go. And normally I wouldn't bother asking him any questions, but Toy, what have you been up to, bud?
Same as usual. I've been holding Conan down with the Space Bros here, so rebuilding after the Conan wipe that they just had. So
yeah, they did the wipe, they did a patch and everything. So
yeah, it screwed everything up. So
yeah,
it passed again today, but
it's all right.
Maybe they didn't re-wipe again.
Well, you guys had it swollen down enough to where nobody wanted to fight us on there anymore. So I think that maybe it'll give them a little fresh blood. Maybe they'll come back and do all that stuff.
Oh yeah, we're expecting to get hit right now. So.
All right. Well, we'll make sure this lasts very long, and that way, while all the guys are messaging you, saying, "Toy, come back, hurry, we're being raided," and be like, "No, he's on the show. Sorry, guys.
He's a little busy right now.
A little busy. That's the way it works.
Second.
That's right.
I haven't played that game yet.
Conan?
It's fun.
Yeah,
I want to.
It needs more content. Though.
It does. It's like the Dong Commander gets a little old on it after a while.
The Dong slider doesn't get high enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
the Dong slider's not high enough.
It's absolutely. But no, it is definitely a fun game, because after you actually have played it for a few weeks, and your base gets wrecked, it's not as big a grind as people think to rebuild in that game. Some games are insane. Like I have some of my friends, along with the Astropub and stuff, who tried to get me into Life is Feudal, and I bought a package for it, and I played a little bit, but that's one of those games where you have to grind for months to be able to dig a hole. It's that grindy. It's the grindiest game I've ever played in my life. I couldn't imagine having a castle wrecked in that, because it's like 6 weeks to patch the wall? What? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
that might be a little too much.
That'd be bad.
Yeah. It's like Star Citizen comes out by the time I'm done building like one house. It'd be crazy in that. So,
yeah, I wonder how that's going to work.
We'll just have to see what happens. Let's see what happens. All right. So this week, let's go over here to this frame. This week we started out with, as we always do, with the Citizen of the Stars. And normally I just skip over Citizen of the Stars because it's cool. They show some appreciation in the community and stuff. It doesn't usually have a lot of news and info in there. But on this case, where we had, I butcher his name all the time, but John Erskine was on there. And he leaked out a little tidbit that I was thought pretty interesting. He talked about during his 10, or not 10 questions, but his power questions. I think he got up to 12 or something. Nobody could beat Brian Chambers.
I'm 16. Yeah.
Chambers the man.
I still say it's fucking rigged. I think Disco gave him some like real short questions just to do that. And these guys all go into a story about it. You ask them a question, it's like, oh yes, I remember back in the day when I went down there. I'm like, dude, you're on a timer.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Chambers was on point with it. He was like, yes,
he executed.
Quick answer.
Yeah, yes, no, pass, next one, go, come on, feed me. It was really good.
Feed me.
That's right. Somebody needs. I want to see the ones where they do Chris Roberts because they got to let him win. It's like Chris Roberts.
He's going to spend like 2 minutes on one question. And
that'd be the whole
answer
thing.
like a different question.
Yeah.
Or did you ever see the Chris Roberts the GOAT video?
No, I don't think so.
It's this compilation of all of his like public speakings.
And then the GOAT video too.
Yeah. No. It's just like it chops it up for every time he says because he says so much between sentences. I don't think he'd do well in that segment.
Imagine if they did a CIG wide one for that. When you had him and then Tony and everybody, it'd be the and then because of this and because of this and because it's like it'd be pretty.
Who
crazy.
is it that says all the time?
Tony does.
It's Tony. Yeah,
does he?
Yeah, he's the guy. And when you had the interview with him and Chris, the first one, not the more recent 10 for the chair, they were going back and forth because you can tell when these guys sit together, you develop the habits of your buddy or your coworker. So they were knowing each other to death. It was insane. Yeah. But then
I think I can put up with and ums more than the okay person. Somebody who says like okay after every other word.
Yeah. Okay.
We're on the SpaceBro show. Okay.
Okay.
The podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah, they do that here.
Usually when I get somebody doing that, I'll do the meow. I'll be like, just start doing the meow.
Officer, are you saying meow?
No, what?
Meow. Do I look like a kitty cat to you?
There you go. No, but the main part that he mentioned here, they were actually asking about something he was excited about in regards to Spectrum. And the point that he brought up, he said he had a very interesting meeting with Twitch HQ during one of the events and stuff. So, and I dove into this a little bit more. And apparently what it is they're looking at integrating some aspect of Twitch into Spectrum and a little bit vice versa since they've worked with Amazon and everything else. So we might have a platform where we can not only as content creators be able to talk to our communities, talk to our orgs inside Star Citizen, but might have some sort of accesses with crossover with Twitch into Spectrum itself. And that would be amazing.
Yeah. I think I don't know where, but I feel like I either rumor or heard this somewhere a long time ago that they wanted to have Twitch integration into the game so people could just like one click go if they wanted to.
And I remember when they first mentioned that was when they first talked about the Lumberyard and when they had switched platforms, they announced that they talked about it had native Twitch integration into the AWS servers and then the Lumberyard program, so you can actually that ability was there. Apparently, with Spectrum, they're exploring that aspect even more, and I'm like, well, as long as my views would translate from Spectrum to there,
it would be the right platform.
It would be.
Just out of curiosity, though, like for someone who streams, where's the benefit to me in just a pure like video integration, right? Because I'm still using overlays and things like that. So
it depends on what format. If it's taking your channel and putting it over there, or if it's taking the chat maybe and putting it over there, because we can see, like, I don't know if you guys have used the Twitch app that they rolled out a few days ago that Twitch just rolled out. I know you've been gone, Texas. I didn't know if Kuro was able to do it. One of the things they have on that, because it's basically, let's be honest, it's almost like an exact copy of Discord, with some Twitch integration on it.
Yeah.
The main differences is it has giveaway capability, has live video
Really?
chat, absolutely built into the system already, so you can do giveaways on the thing at top. You can do polling directly on the top, and it's a visual interface instead of vote one, type it in. You can just go click if everybody's in the Twitch app. And it took all the aspects, basically, since Amazon bought Curse, the main VoIP program and stuff that was for WoW, they basically dissolved that, put it into this Twitch app. So Twitch app is Curse plus Discord features. And then they're rolling in even more stuff into it. So I've been following it very closely, and I have that and Discord mirrored up here because I'm a Discord partner.
Has not stopped using it.
I won't. It's nice. I'm not saying there's a lot of feature sets that are different, but there's some nuances I've discovered with the Twitch app I like. When you're in a voice channel in Discord, you can't type in it, right? You have to type in a different channel and talk in one.
Yeah.
Inside Twitch app, it's unified. So if I'm in that channel, I can also have a chat for that channel. So some of my friends who may not speak or have disabilities stuff, they can listen and type and be interfaced right in the same channel without having to click in different areas. And it makes that channel list half the size of what I have now.
That's really helpful.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
I think the cool thing about it... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the cool thing is that, you said, well, maybe there's not too many features yet, but I've certainly heard about it. I just haven't played with it yet. But it kind of sounds like the foundation to do some really cool stuff. Maybe they're kind of targeting screw using bots. Like, let's give the streamer even more tools within our own platform, too.
The one thing it doesn't support is the channel currency thing. But, like there's a browser version of the Twitch giveaway thing. There's some simple things. You can do simple ticket raffles and stuff in there. No problem.
Not bad. I like it.
Polling, all that stuff. And you can see when your favorite streamers are streaming and watch the stream inside the app. So it embeds it right there. And you get all the views. So if it's on my phone, tablet, or desktop, you still, as a streamer, get all the views just as if I was in a browser watching. Because it's all automatically embedded. So once they make that into a mobile, if they combine the Twitch mobile app into that, I'm all about it. Because that's going to be a beautiful aspect then for all the mobile devices.
I looked into it one day, and it was really shocking how much of just Twitch's viewership actually comes from mobile.
Yeah,
it's a pretty big number.
Huge number. I'd say they're almost at 40 to 50% of their viewership during the days.
Yeah,
is mobile, because if you think about it, most of the guys who watch my show during the afternoons, they're watching from work or somewhere else, and they can't have Mitauchi up on their monitor while they're plugging away. They're having it over here, and they're usually listening to it more than visually watching it. So, or
they're watching, like on lunch or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that I've watched it on my Chromecast, and there's somebody who watched my show from like Australia, and he worked in a convenience store, and he just had me up there, and I was like, I'm flattered that I'm in some person's convenience store in Australia.
Yeah, there you go.
But thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate anybody taking time. Don't lose your jobs, though, guys. But we love it when you guys watch. Don't get fired over watching us, but still. But
robot, maybe? Somebody's saying robot.
Is somebody going wrong? Maybe. Yeah. I don't know, because my audio goes out sometimes. I'll reset it anyway, just in case.
No. Nexus.
I wonder.
Imperial at robot, so I think that's what that is.
Well,
it's
it's a 1 second reset like that, so it doesn't matter. So
he doesn't talk, so
that's okay.
We assume robot.
There you go. But yeah, there's lots of aspects. It is weird and different because it feels a lot different than Discord in certain aspects, but I think the Twitch app is going to be really interesting. I'm interested to hear what details they're looking at doing with this, because if Spectrum integrates with Twitch, if you could live stream from the game in Spectrum and then broadcast it from Spectrum out to Twitch from in-game, that would be amazing in itself too. Can you imagine like being able to show your game like on almost like an NVIDIA Shield or Experience, like some of the different GeForce apps they use now, to where people that don't have the full streamer set up but they want to show a battle that's happening inside the verse, they could just click and do that right there. That would be cool. That would be really neat, because it allows everybody to kind of facilitate those cool moments and show those things.
This is a little bit of a sidetrack, but I'm kind of curious. Like, to anyone who might have an Xbox One, I don't know if someone here does, or they might have it on PlayStation, but they have the built-in like streaming on platforms now, like on consoles, and so if it's going to function similar to something like that in Star Citizen, I wonder how it's like eating up the resources on the back end.
Yeah.
so for your average person, is that going to be horrible? And then like when you're doing it on a console, I've never tried it on a console, but does it eat up the ability of
console? It's usually pretty basic because you don't chat back to chat except for verbally. You see their text, but you can't. You don't get your overlays and everything. It's a push button. You're on Twitch, and then it'll just move you aside, put your cam down here, and just have text chat there. So you're kind of stuck. Everybody looks the same on there when you watch.
Does like as far as your performance with your console, does it like work less?
I tried it only twice, and this has been a couple years ago, and it was on the PlayStation 4, and I didn't see any performance drop. But then again, those games aren't taking as much robust resources as some games do. You know what I mean? So it's like
Star Citizen.
Yeah, if you have good internet, it's not like you're going to tax your CPU because it's just basically showing a webcam in addition.
But
to
it's
your
also
game.
controlled because it's a console. So every one of them are the same, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it's a pretty. They don't have to worry about their network spiking like crazy. Now, what people are getting into is the external boxes and stuff. Like I have a couple of those downstairs where they'll plug and play lead through HDMI, which is an external capture card, and then they can broadcast live off of like an HD AverMedia device, which I don't even know why I have one downstairs, but I don't ever use it. But I originally had planned on streaming things like Last of Us and some of the other console-based games that I like. They're console exclusives, but there hasn't been a console exclusive that I've liked in a long time now. So
what about that Horizon game?
Horizon game I didn't get into. It looks like a good game. Yeah. There's so much out. There's so much out right now. If it was like a barren wasteland, I would play it all day. But that's something I'll pick up when it goes to PC when it's like half off or something. Because it will. It'll port to PC eventually. But we had so much else. We had Ghost Recon come out. There's like 4 or 5 different little indie games come out. People are still hyped about Conan. There's just I don't know. I'd probably spent about $400 or $500 in video games the last 2 months. It's because there's so much crap out right now.
There is a lot out lately.
It seems more than normal for the springtime.
Well, everything's going that model of early access now too, which I think it helps with rollout. What's that? God, Keen was playing it. The Player Unknown or whatever it is.
Battlegrounds
Player Unknown Battleground.
Yeah, we've been playing that too. It just actually released today officially, didn't it? I think
it was yesterday.
Yesterday or today, because been in beta the whole time. As actual launch, it's like $30 on Steam.
Yeah, everybody's been playing that.
Yep, it's fun though. It's nerve wracking, but it's fun. It's like an actual good looking H1Z1 with better mechanics. So you can't.
That's kind of what it looked like.
You can't jump out of your car doing 90 miles an hour because you actually fucking die in it if you do that. Because everybody's crossed over from H1Z1. I see them running themselves over all the time. It's hilarious. So that's pretty entertaining. But no, I'm just really excited about this integration. I want to see what Star Citizen does with it, and with them being the flagship game, unofficially the flagship game of Amazon's Lumberyard platform, right? Because what else is out there? There's a lot of developing games that they're working on, but they're almost
they are the flagship.
Yeah, they are the flagship. So they're gonna want to show every feature they can.
And Amazon's been touting them a bit too. So I don't think there's any way that that Amazon would let it sink in any possibility.
Well, and if it does, they're not going to be happy about it. I'll say that. So
they're like, we've been promoting the hell out of this, and now, just as an example, worst case scenario, like, oh my gosh, you're failing. They would totally probably try to get that game to happen. If
I would think so. They'd send it just like other games do when you're using their engine, just like CryEngine would. They send a couple of their devs over to help figure out what the issues are. And work with this and work with the CIG guys and kind of make that happen.
You know what's really interesting about that? That I think a lot of people kind of miss on Star Citizen is that they've yet to seek outside funding. Ignore crowdfunding, obviously that's external, right? But they've yet to seek actual outside funding, which at any point in time they could do. Yeah, they could go out there and as sort of their resume, they're the most successful crowdfunding campaign ever.
You have to also depend how you look at it. I look at they have sought outside resources though, because like at their last, what was it, the Gamescom booth or whatever last year and everything, Intel provided all that because they were because they signed it with Intel. So there's just certain aspects where they do help with the funding from something that CIG doesn't spend the money to do that stuff. So and that's be several tens of thousands of dollars to set up some of that stuff there at those events.
Yeah, I guess what I mean is I feel like they could go out and they could find some sort of investment firm and say we need $50 million to finish this thing. They're giving up.
I agree too, but I don't think they want to, because I think that, and I this is just my hypothesis, but I think a lot of their people have worked there so long and stuff. It wouldn't surprise me if they haven't started to give out private shares of the company to some of their senior staff and whatnot.
Oh, they probably did.
I would. It's a normal incentive for game companies that when you have that much invested in, to maintain your most talented staff, to kind of do those things. Like, hey, you know, this thing goes live, you're bought in. This is an employee-owned company to a certain aspect, rather than have investors that you owe money to and then you have to pay gains on and all that stuff. It'd be better to kind of bait them with that, so that way you can maintain your talent and you don't have to pay the astronomical prices that some of these really talented developers are worth. Because, you know, a lot of these guys could go to EA or somewhere else and probably make a lot more money.
Well, a lot of them came from EA and some
from
too.
EA,
Yeah, and some of them took a pay cut to come here, though. And we know that. They don't say that, but absolutely they did, especially early on in the project, because they want to be part of it.
I just purely meant as a last resort, though. Like, if, you know, shit hit the fan and they needed something, I feel like that, you know, there's more resources out there besides just
they just need to have, they'll have Jay Lee, like, draw some more clothes, or one of your guys drawing their spaceship. And
well, and that's just the thing. I think if shit started to hit the fan, Amazon would start chipping in, because they're like, well, we did all this time promoting it. If this sinks, this is going to look really bad for Lumberyard. We can't let this happen.
And that's another thing that makes me feel very positive about player counts and network code and stuff. Because the same, when they were having their initial challenges with the CryEngine, before they decided they were going to have to redesign the whole engine, they had people from CryEngine all the time working with them on trying to, you know, make CryEngine do what they wanted it to do, before they came to the realization, hey, this isn't going to work. You know, they literally hired over half the employees from CryEngine to bring on to staff, and said
they weren't paying them.
Yeah. Well, at some point, it looks like an opportunity. Why continually try to license this from them when you can take the guys and build your own engine out of it? So, I mean, you know, it's like, why not? It's a smart business move. So, so yeah, I look forward to all the different things in the future. But I agree with you, Texas. I think that they would. I don't think Amazon would let it fail. I wouldn't look at that as a shoring up block, but I would look at it as a opportunity to, maybe they're going to help more on the engine side and the net coding side, to where it'll help accelerate things that might have been normally another year or two away from us. Because the farther the game goes along, the more Star Citizen has to show us, the more that Amazon can say, look at this. That's running our shit, you know? Because
it's a symbiotic relationship for sure. So
it is, absolutely.
Both sides have a lot on the line and a lot to gain.
Absolutely. So. All right. And normally, again, we don't really talk about lore makers quite a bit, but it was kind of interesting. It's, you know, they were over in the Coral system, and they were talking about the fact it's a major trade hub, and I believe this is where the major interactions with the Banu came in and all that stuff. I'm not a huge lore guy. I'm more of a guy that's like, I kind of want to dive into the game and find out about this and that, but I did find myself actually listening to this. I don't know if it's because there wasn't a 10 for the chair or anything at the beginning of the week, but I actually did go through and listen to this stuff, and I thought it was moderately interesting. Maybe I can find a good pirate area to hold up at and pit my merc group and wait for jobs, because I'm sure there'll be some stuff stolen and everything else over in those areas. Did you guys watch the lore makers at all, or do you watch them or not really?
No, I didn't. But what it makes me think of now, because whenever I go back to that galactic map, is I was talking to, and I've said this before on my stream, I was talking to Brian Chambers about how, you know, I threw it up in the air. I'm like, how long does it take you to make a planet? You know, just like with no real buildings on it or anything like that. Yeah. And then this got me thinking, after he said this answer, how far along do I think they are with the planets? Because he said 2 or 3 hours to make the planet, 3 or 4 days to make it with all of the objects and buildings. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, like, but that's still not final polish, you know. I think it's...
that's probably what takes the longest. I mean, really polishing it. But the tech also isn't ready yet, so I mean...
But I mean, the way I asked it was, you know, with the buildings and everything like that, you know, 3 or 4 days. But it's going to go much faster, of course, once they have the procedural technology for the modular systems that they were talking about in. It's going to crank out even faster.
Yeah, and if they have more and more staff working on it. I mean, I think they said they could really crank out a complete polished solar system what was it? It took a little over a month or two, and they could have it like done, and that's
Which is
amazing.
about right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's about right then.
Yeah.
If you give that timetable, yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
I've never really been concerned on the content side of things. I've always been, and concerned may be the wrong word, but let's just say it. We'll use it more in the tech side of things, as in the systems, like subsumption, fidelity. Sorry,
I'm the same way. Gameplay mechanics, because we can make our own story. I mean, I know they want to add all the different mission systems and all that stuff, but I mean, you give us the mechanics to board, to have different weapon sets, larger area to play at, move cargo around, just basically to make money, not instead of a mission necessarily, but hey, there's these things you can buy and move them around. We would have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay just ourselves, preventing each other from getting stuff or trying to escort and help people get stuff, and those basic things will blow it up.
I think they're held up on mechanics. Yeah. I think that's the main thing they're working on is they're held up on getting the mechanics for everything so that 3.0 can come out.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not even concerned though with, mining or cargo, those sort of, subsystems, because I feel like those are the ones that aren't R&D heavy, at least in my opinion. I feel like things like subsumption and the planetary tech and things like that are R&D heavy. And so those are the ones that always stand out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like they have a good resource flow of how they want to do mining, so building tools and stuff for it. They probably know what they want to do. Now, whether that works well or they run into hiccups or whatever, who knows? But
we'll see.
But I think they're at the point where, obviously, if they're not only saying, hey, mining 3.0, but we're also going to have the prospector and those type of things, they're farther along with mining than I thought they would be. Because I thought we'd be out there with hand packs to start with. Like in Helion, we'd be out there like mining hand tools, and then they'd bring in the ships, and then they'd do all that stuff.
But you know what that kind of tells you? If they're ahead of schedule on the mining, they're way behind schedule on something else.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we know what they're behind schedule on.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the netcode.
Yeah.
It could be the net. It could be the netcode. Yeah.
It has to be.
I think it's subsumption too.
Well, subsumption. Yeah, subsumption's.
It's everything other than art, because they got enough artists that are catching up on the ships, catching up on the props.
Anything the asset artists and stuff can do, they're getting way ahead on. Because they have this whole art team. Ahead. Yeah, the art team's not going to stop working. They're not going to lay these guys off or fire them. They're going to say, okay, make this. And that's why we're getting a huge amount of ships, a huge amount of different cool stations, modular bases built that we weren't talking about for 2 years from now. But now they're like, oh, look, here they are. It's because their art team still needs stuff to work on and keep going. So at some point...
And they're not developers, so you can't, like, move them. I've seen things on Reddit where they're like, they should stop making ships and focus more on, the netcode or items 2.0.
Yeah, just fire the art team and get more
artists on that.
Yeah, what are they going to do? They're like, I'll draw you what it should look like. Here's a mock-up.
That's not how it works. Yeah.
It doesn't work, though. So.
Dude, I feel their ship pipeline is just cranking away. I think they got it in a great place.
Well, now that they got their tools in the game to build the ships, they're going to go. They're just going to keep flying.
Yeah.
I think you're
pun intended.
I would not be surprised if we didn't see most of all the current capital ships and everything done by the end of the year, like all of them. Doesn't mean they'll be in game, but I think all the artwork's going to be more and more done because they're going faster and faster. It took them almost 2 years to get the Idris done, but now they're like go ahead.
I feel like it's taken a long time to. I mean, just to play devil's advocate, I feel like it's taken them a long time to get the Cullis rework done.
The problem isn't the rework, though. The problem is they were getting the pipeline in place. Now that the pipeline's in place, all the ships will go.
I think the Cutlass is done, man. I think Cutlass has been done for a month. I think they're just holding it for the right moment to drop it. And I know they say they don't hold ships, but I believe that 100%. Because they're not going to... They want to drop it, I guarantee, around the same time, either whatever iterative patch comes next or 3.0, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it's 3.0.
I really do. Because there's a lot of gameplay that comes with that. I think they're not going to just drop the Cutlass Black. I think they're going to drop all the variants and everything are done. I think they're going to... Everybody's going to be like, what? Yeah, the Cutlass Red, all of them I think are going to be done all at once. Because I bet he finished that one and they're like, all right, go ahead and finish the other ones.
That'd be cool.
It'd be amazing. So. Yeah, so I really believe that. Because it's just they're cranking through too much stuff. The Buccaneer... all these other ships, they're like, they've already said the Idris is 100% polished, done, and they've been flying around since last year. Now it's done. So, they're basically working on things like the Bengal, the Javelin, those things for the big ships. Almost all the Connies have been reworked. They've worked the Hornet, like, what are they on the 6th fucking version of the Hornet? I mean, if they do any more Hornets, dude. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm like, I know Chris Roberts likes the Hornet. I get it. But can we move on to other shit?
Richmond.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Or just any Banu ship. I wanted to see about this super secret Banu ship, and I never heard
End of March, I thought they said, right?
Yeah, like, didn't they say that I thought they were supposed to talk about it this last Friday, but...
They said a new concept sale at the end of March. So, I guess next Friday.
Yeah. I wonder what kind of Banu ship it'll be.
Dude, I'm lost.
New concept ship every month, it seems.
Yeah.
They'll have an Easter sale, too, and they'll bring out everything.
Yeah, my wallet doesn't appreciate the notion of a ship a month.
Yeah.
I don't like
nonsense.
That.
Nonsense.
Along with 3 flash sales of ships that everybody wants at the same time. It's like, flash sale? What? What do you mean? Dang it. What do you mean flash sale?
Of course, the casual email, like, hey, by the way, do this.
Well, speaking of ships, the Buccaneer is currently in the PTU, and people are really getting positive feedback on it right now. They're liking it a lot. I really feel like this ship's going to outshine the Hurricane in most aspects that people are going to use it right now. As far as dogfighting and stuff, I think the Hurricane's only going to be really effective against larger ships and ground strafing and stuff like that. I think because it's a strafing ship where it comes in and out. It's not agile. The Buccaneer is highly agile. So I had people in chat today that were talking, Buck versus Hurricane. I'm like, the Buccaneer will destroy it because the Hurricane can't move sideways. The Buck will just, with its agility, dodge the shit out of it. So
yeah, that thing's fast, man. It shocked me yesterday when I flew it for the first time. I was like,
and whoever hits who first wins. I mean, there's no surviving either one of those ships. So
yeah.
So I was just looking at the image you had up for the Aurora rework, but it looks more like they're just tossing it out completely and starting from scratch, honestly.
Well, the Aurora's been around long enough where I can accept them doing that.
Yeah, because they did the same thing with the Hornets.
They did. They kept the body style, ships. But everything else they changed inside of them, And it's because it looks really dated. I mean, you got to consider, as much as we say, hey, these games take 5 years to develop and all that stuff, that's true. But the difference is us as players have been playing it since it's been released for us to play in the hangar and arena commander. So we've seen these ships for a long time, and they're getting dated before we even have the game out. It's like,
and that's a concern that I was talking to someone else about is like, the graphics are good in this game now, but this game may take so long to make that, it may not look up to snuff by the time it comes out.
They'll just keep redoing it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I feel with them is that they're pushing the envelope enough, especially with the face stuff and just dare I say it again, fidelity, that I think they're going to be pretty much on the forefront when this releases. If not, Chris will have them do it past it.
Yeah, it just depends how many years it takes to get it all the way out. Because I mean, people are going to catch up. They're going to see what they're doing, and they're going to, hey, let's do something like that too. And there's really 2 schools of thought that have developed over the last 5 to 10 years in gaming. And it's the early access model where it's like, hey, get out while we have mechanics and get out what we can while we can, and we'll add on to it as we go. And then there's the, let's make a full-featured developed game and then drop it when it's ready. And CIG is the first independent developer to do the longer route, the more traditional, I want it all the way done, but yet still let us play it while we're going. The only other companies doing that is Ubisoft and EA, and I don't know what to say, but other than like games like For Honor and some of these, most of these games have come out with some major issues still in the first few weeks, and they don't have the depth that we thought they would for a AAA $60 title. It's like
that's what's always kind of shocked me with game development versus just general software development. I mean, software development since the beginning, not really, but for many years now, it's always been MVP. Release when you have the minimum possible, get it out there and get feedback. Yeah. And it seems that just recently, gaming is finally coming on to that idea.
Yeah.
It's shocking, kind of.
It is. I'll be shocked, though, when I see a developer like Ubisoft or EA do that.
Yeah, they're too damn stubborn.
And the only time I'm starting to see it now with EA, just starting to, and it's very odd, Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves has had several betas They're engaging their community. Right now, it's going to be on PC and Xbox One, but they've been engaging even the console community on the development and design of the game to a certain aspect, which blown my mind. And I'm like, really? So it's got to be more on the sub-developer than actual EA itself. But still, just to have somebody in that branch of family that's actually trying to do something like that and develop a title, it's, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that game. And yeah, it's cartoony and all that stuff, but it looks like it's going to be fun. And they're taking a lot of community feedback. I think they're on their 4th or 5th console beta, and they're getting ready to start their PC beta. Yeah. So maybe some of the big guys will learn from what CIG is doing. I don't know. It'd be nice. It'd definitely be nice.
Yes, it would. It's the right play. It really is.
It is, for sure. And yeah, you can see the differences, though, from the old to the new. I don't know. I mean, here's the other thing, and this is the counter argument I have for the Auroras and all this stuff, and them redoing these. They're redoing them. It's happening. It's a done deal. All this hype about which is the best starter ship, we should redo these and bring these up to date and all this stuff. I distinctly remember Ben Lesnick being on one of Nikki D'Angelo's podcasts, and they brought up the subject of like this one person had sold all his stuff, and he just had a large ship. He ended up getting like an Endeavor package, right? So that was his one ship, which is ridiculous. But his question to Ben was, since I only have a large ship, what am I supposed to do when the game launches? Because Ben was saying, hey, you're going to have to pay for fuel, you're going to have to do all this stuff, you got to work your way up. And he's like, Ben just looked at the camera, he said, you're going to have to buy a small ship.
Nice.
And I thought that's typical Ben. I love that. It was perfect.
Yeah.
But the whole point was you need to move your way up through reputation on stuff. So even if you have money and whatnot, you're not going to be able to get the biggest loads with the carry-on ships and all this stuff. But these ships here, he said you should be out of your starter ship probably within anywhere from 8 to 16 hours of gameplay. And I'm like, yeah. He said it's like a flash and pan. They want to get you in your first ship pretty quickly. And that makes sense, so that way you feel that progression even if it's a grind in the next one or whatever. I'm like, so people so much thought into like what Aurora they're going to have and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, you'll be out of that son of a bitch. Like for us, people that are going to play it probably 24 or 48 hours straight, we're going to be out of the Aurora by the time we get done, turn off our computer, So I'm like, is it really, be out of it? Yeah. Is it really going to be that big of a deal? Like everybody's so worried about getting the beta or the Delta or all this stuff. Is it that big a deal?
No, it's really not at the end of the day. But hey, man, some people dedicate, hours and hours and hours to organizing their hangar, right, and optimizing it.
Well, that's because that's all we've had to do right now. I'm just saying, you might also see a slowdown on all these reworks as we start to get more game mechanics in. I think right now it's our shiny distraction of like, hey, we want to bring these assets up to date, but we'll look at it. But as a community, are we really going to give a shit when we're getting closer, like 6 months, a year from launch? We have game mechanics. We can fly around. We can hit jump portals. Are we going to care if the Aurora's like, let's look a little dated. Maybe we should spend some resources and do a rework on it again. I'm going to be like, man, I ain't going to be flying that thing but 8 hours. Who cares?
Yeah. See, but that's where I can start to see, like, sometimes I see the side of the argument where they're like, well, why don't they just have them work on this instead of, like they could be working on greater things. Like people say that. I can start to see that with like, they're doing a rework of a ship. It kind of needs it. But, then they could be making a piece of a base, so they could have them make, like
another planet.
Sections of LSR. These ship guys can make anything. They can model anything they want.
But see, also remember, each rework of the ship, they're getting less and less assets on it. You know what I mean? It's better for the coding on each ship pass they do.
That's true. They do optimize the polys, and then they're making everything item 2.0 when they touch it. And all that stuff.
The problem that I have with the reworks happening right now is I feel like not all of the ship tech is done yet. Like, again, this is without any inside knowledge, but is items 2.0 done yet? Because if not, why are you reworking ships when you're only going to have to do it again to integrate all the new tech? I think
they're doing item system 2.0 as far as the assets in the ship as they rework them. And I think that's something that they didn't highlight to us when they started talking about item system 2.0 last year. Every ship's going to have to be reworked to just that. Because if you're going to have components in it, if you're going to have assets that were taken in and out, every single thing that they didn't touch with item system 2.0 is going to have to be touched, or it won't work together.
But
So-
see, that's
so
why
why
they're putting the
rework now?
placeholders in there.
Yeah.
That's why you see ships with placeholders. So.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, why rework it then? Why spend the time reworking the Aurora and bringing it up to today's tech standards? Ignore art for a second, but today's tech standards. If you're gonna have to do it 6 months from now, why not instead dedicate those resources to the Carrack or the Banu Merchantman, pre-existing ships that haven't even been done yet once?
I feel like a lot of those ships have special assigned people to do. And you've noticed that whenever they talk about the ATVs or anything, well, Chris talked to so-and-so and this guy's going to do this. I think they hand place the artist with the ship they want because they know where people's talents are and what they kind of want to see out of it. So, I think they got it earmarked like that.
Another thing about these these reworks and stuff like that is that if say they want the Aurora to look up to snuff in terms of current the way things should look, a lot of MMOs have done things like this in just expansion packs.
Yeah.
Especially if Alpha Patcher is something that's going to stick around, or Delta Patcher, sorry, it's something that's going to stick around, then
Alpha.
I know.
Well, the Alpha Delta Patcher.
It is an Alpha.
The Alpha Delta Patcher, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the Alpha Delta Patcher. Okay, so if it sticks around, heavily into the build, they can do these things on the fly too. And I mean, like WoW, for example, went back and redid tons of graphics over the years.
Yeah.
And they can get the placeholders in place if they want, and then just slap in a new model when they have it done.
Absolutely. And to a point, that's what they're doing. But I think they ran into a system where they started doing the IDA system, and they figured out they're going to have new ports, new piping through the ships. I mean, there's a lot of things that changed because maybe the things didn't flow through the way they thought it would on the original map out of how they had everything piped out. So there's a lot of aspects you see there. These type of scenes drive me crazy. Like, can we just go in the fucking office and get a shot? Even if you're not going to show the screen, it's like we're gonna we're gonna show the screen, but we'll show it through glass out here so that way they're working and there's shit on the board.
They're having a meeting.
Yeah, because if they showed it inside the room, we wouldn't believe them. We'd think they're just sitting at a table bullshitting us. There's not actual work up there. You're staring at a blank monitor. Vaporware confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
They always look very
just
concerned
open the
in the
doors for
meetings.
us, all right? Just let us see it all. Damn it.
They always make me feel very concerned though the way they look in these meetings. Like they're all happy with us and they're looking at each other they're like, yeah, it's gonna be a motherfucker this weekend. We're gonna have to work on this. So it always feels that way to me. And then they talked about a little bit.
Good ATVs lately, though. I'm pretty happy.
There's been some great info and stuff, and the updates alone. I mean, they're going through the studio update in the beginning, and these guys seem like they're having filibusters, like they're down on the Senate floor or something, because they're like, so Brian Chambers comes out and he's like, bam, this is what we've been doing, boom, 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 check it out, and then Aaron Roberts comes out and he's like, oh yeah, you ain't got nothing on me, and he like blows it up, and then he has an after like shot of like stuff going on, and I don't think anybody would try to top Aaron, but in this case, it's like even then, it's like he went on, I don't know, he went on for a while, like with all these things. I think there's like the first 15 minutes of the whole video is like him doing updates about all this stuff, and I like that. It's good.
I do too. They
good.
just started really doing that, a couple episodes, or like, 5-6 episodes ago. Man, I'm loving it. They're just like, boom, boom, boom. Here's all this stuff. Yeah. I'm like, this is the most interesting part to me.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're doing it because they feel like the community might be a little bit disenchanted.
I think they are.
To a certain point, I agree. I think so. I mean, you have to. We're the community. They're the community providers as far as like what we're seeing content-wise. Now, while we don't want you to give up any secrets or spoilers or anything, exactly. I think it's a fair question for us to say, yeah, show us what you're working on, guys. I don't think that's unfair because that's in another game situation, absolutely. But we have an oral contract. They said, hey, they're going to show us the process as we go through. We're like, hell yeah, we love that, so we're going to help back you more. And that's fine. I'm not saying they have to show this much because we gave them this much, but keeping those lines of communication open are really important because we've seen what happened every time they shut up and they shut down. Then everybody's like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? And you don't hear anything for a week or two. That pisses me off.
Yeah. I'd rather hear the bad news than silence.
That's right.
If there is bad news, just say it, just share it,
Yeah.
and then you know, deal with it.
And we've never, anytime they've told us the truth, we've never like touted them about with the whole Squadron 42 thing. I was like, that's cool. At least they had a whole video that said, hey, we tried, we didn't get there, we didn't get vertical slice done. Now we're saying, nah, let's not worry about that. We're moving on. That was fine. But for them to keep on feeding us like, hey, our expectations don't stop just because you get quiet about something. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that was the miscommunication between CIG and us as a fan base. They figured if they just didn't talk about it for a while, that we'd be like, oh, let's look at the other shiny stuff. We don't forget. We're like elephants out here, man.
Yeah, I know.
We're fucking not going to forget that shit.
It's a tough crowd, man.
We are. But, I mean, they've made us, like, super hypercritical of stuff. And it's worked to their benefit, too, because I look at another game now, and I'm like, this game looks like shit. It's because I'm sitting in Star Citizen and it looks like fucking glory. I'm hypercritical of games like everything from Mass Effect, which has some animation bugs, but I'm probably a little extra critical about it. It's like even
I'm sitting in Hellion, dude.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you know, it's not quite the same. I don't get the same like lens flares, and you know, it's okay. But they got game mechanics in Hellion at least. So it's just, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they've cored the market on fidelity. He's done that. But let's hope he doesn't do an opposite of what he did in Freelancer, to where Freelancer had amazing game mechanics and then it looked like shit. So everybody gave him shit for it looking like shit. So now he comes back with Star Citizen and everything looks amazing, and then the game mechanics are like, meh. So, is it really cold in LA? Because like everybody's wearing hats all the time.
They're really
it's just
sensitive.
an LA thing, right?
Yeah, well, they're pussies.
Okay, there we go. Just went out there with it. Called them out.
Yep. Well, it's like it's 90 degrees there like all the time, and then it's like, oh my gosh, the winter. It's like
and devs, we're gonna keep calling you pussies till you come out to Star Marine and show us what's up.
Is it the new hipster thing?
I don't think it's new. I don't think it's new.
So here's an interesting maybe premise is what once Delta Patcher's out. This may seem like a stupid question. What's going to happen to Evocati?
They're going to
because they're going to be able to release things so fast and then patch them. Will it be necessary to even have Evocati do what they do?
I would say yes, and I think it might change the rollout system though. Let's say it would enable them to have the Evocati testing the next thing and then patching the current thing more robustly. It's like, oh, we got a quick patch. Oh, you guys are disconnecting in the regular live servers. Okay, well, we can throw a patch out for that.
They're going to have a much more active role then.
Yeah. I would think it'd be, I would think it'd be, instead of waiting every 3 or 4 months to test something, why not throw builds out there of mechanics, like simple builds, maybe not even complete drops. You can say, hey, we want you guys to test out in this module and do the stupid QA shit. Like, whenever I was working alpha testing like 10 years ago, cut this tree down 5,000 times. And it was like, that's what it was. There wasn't a game to play in some of these games. That's what you do. Maybe they could have test those systems like that, you know?
Yeah. You have to consider what Evocati's purpose really is, right? And that's to have a very small, dedicated group of testers that are focused. You know you're going to get good feedback from them. And to keep silence on things because... You know, like it or not, even though the game's not released, Star Citizen has a lot of publicity during, surrounding big releases, right? And that's why even as a game in pre-alpha, they can't just release Star Marine in a completely shitty state, not under an NDA, because they get publicity for it, right? They have the world is watching them. So Evocati serves a very important purpose in my mind, and I think it'll only enhance them because they'll get to test things more rapidly.
The only way, I guess, there's the part of me that sort of looks at it from, maybe they can start looking at this from a different perspective where they say, okay, this is an alpha. To a certain degree, sometimes they don't treat it like an alpha when they should treat it more like an alpha. And because they go, a true alpha is just like, here you go, this is what it is.
But it doesn't matter what they call it or what disclaimers they give. At the end of the day, if someone, has a video clip of the game and it looks like shit, some internet journal that's shitty as all hell is going to pick it up and say, "It sucks. Look at this." Yeah, exactly, right? Like that's what's going to happen.
And I don't worry about that so much, but I see why they would as a company because the marketing aspect. You don't want those images out there of stuff of people turning inside out in their cockpits with their arms all twisted and all this other stuff. Yeah. But
I do believe that happened in
every time, like it's like every build except for maybe the last one. The last one I can't connect to.
Just remember though that they have a pretty good internal testing group besides the Evocadis. That's why they like to put it through the ringer with them first before they even give it to Evocati.
But see, I think Evocati's where they start to hit that wall to where they have more people than what they could test or simulate inside the office, right? Because it's going to give them, it's going to give them a true stress test, and that's what they're missing out on a lot of times, right? Because they'll patch something, and then you'll hear like, Girl, you've even seen Sean say this, right? Sean's like, well, it didn't do that when we tested it. They put it out live, and then it's like, we fucked it up because it's in a wider audience, So, especially with Star Marine and stuff like that. And it's something they couldn't simulate inside their test bed of CIG. And I think those are the areas you focus Evocati on like new builds, trials, stuff like that. Maybe for even explicitly certain things like Star Marine or specific tasks inside the PU, have them test that instead of rolling the build out wide. And then go out to us when they got it tightened in a little bit more.
Yeah. So something interesting, by the way, to address what you said, Toy, is actually going to LinkedIn and looking up CIG, where they've got 225 people associated with them. Foundry 42 is actually a separate entity in LinkedIn. But you can see that they have 33 QA staff in their basically American offices. So they don't actually have, that big. I mean, 30, sure, that's generous, right? Some of those big publishers have like 900. And so I think that's the purpose of Evocati, is to extend that staff to a number where you can really stress the services and kind of get a feel for things that don't show up with just,
they give you good feedback, like you were saying earlier, too. Because
because the issue council, the public one, dude, it's horrible.
It is horrible because, people are like, well, they should get rid of the Evocati and just go wide. Well, you get about the exact same amount of feedback as you would as dealing with a smaller group. And dealing with a smaller group, you could actually talk to these people and say, hey, so-and-so, I need you guys to test this if you would on the server. And most of the Evocati would do that instead of being like, oh, I'll troll, I'll just ram into your ship and take screenshots.
And not just that, Evocati are good at writing reports, too.
Yeah.
It's not just...
Yeah. And regarding the issue console, you have no idea how many times I've actually said, I would report more issues to the issue console if it wasn't such a fucking clusterfuck to try and navigate your way through, and thinking that nobody's probably going to read the thing in the first place is my preconception of it. So I think I always said, why can't they just implement something where you hit F11, takes a screenshot, you say what the bug was, submit, bam, done.
Yep. I just got timed out in your channel.
Oh, did you?
I tried to post a LinkedIn link to CIG, and I got timed out.
Right now,
you're done.
You gotta get that permit.
Yeah,
gotta get that permit. That's funny for sure,
dude. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You look up the issue council again, the public ones, and you'll see things like the game crashes.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. That's very helpful.
Oh, what was the one somebody said? He said, "Oh my." One guy was complaining about bullet penetration or something. He said, my shots went through the wall. Not what gun he's using. I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah, I know.
That happens a lot, actually, in our alphas. It's like, what are you going to do,
Yeah, dude, the public one is just miserable. I posted an issue one time, and people just want to, try and get in a higher wave so much that they just spam contribute without any thought, right? They'll be like, yep, I reproed that, or this is a duplicate. Someone posted a duplicate. I posted a ship bug, and then they said something about Star Marine, and that my thing was a duplicate. I'm like, really? And then guess what? 5 more people also said that it was a duplicate of the exact same one.
Well, it was duplicate. That's why.
It's great.
Absolutely. All right. Well, they dove in here to, what was the next thing they showed there? They were talking about, there's so many updates, like I said. You try to dive into some of these things with these guys, and it's so many bits and pieces. Let's do a quick list rundown here real quick. Let me see. I had it up right. Where'd you go? Probably just closed it. Ugh. Because I know they said they ported in thousands of animations for the female character model. I'm like, please get that thing out. I am so tired about hearing the female character model.
Yeah, here's what I wonder about the female character model. Is the hitbox going to be smaller for the female character model than because then that That's a distinct advantage.
Normally that would be a good question, but there is no hitboxes in the game. Did you know that? They have true mapping to the character like an Arma. You have no hitbox. So whenever you hit somewhere and it doesn't actually hit, it's because of desync and the game's reading it like you actually hit that physical piece of the body.
But I mean, it's still
with the smaller skeleton.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
It's still basically a hitbox in the end.
No, they actually have a whole video where I think even Sean would probably confirm this because they made sure to make it a point. It's not a box at all because most games, they narrow the box around the animation. This is they actually have layered mapping to where if they wanted to make it so precise, if you shot the earlobe, they could show damage exactly on the earlobe.
What they're saying, Mitt, is the female size is smaller than the male size.
And it should, but with desync...
that's what I'm saying.
I know, but you keep saying hitbox, so it's like I have to point that out.
Same basic principle.
Damn you, Kiro.
If they're smaller, then it should be smaller, yes. There shouldn't be...
That seems like a distinct advantage.
Should be.
Kiro is just trying to excuse the fact that he's going to make like the sluttiest female character ever.
Well, we'll go...
It's like, guys, it's because there's a smaller model.
We're going to do what we did in Ark.
Breast so big.
We're going to make everybody really dark skinned and short midgets so you can't hit anybody. And we can run around and we can own the entire island. That's what everybody did in Ark. Because you couldn't see it because everybody was camouflaged. And you were this tall and you were just as strong as everybody else. But your hitbox was this big, so you couldn't hit the guy. And we'd have these little tiny dudes jumping up, stabbing people and killing everybody. And nobody could stop them.
I'll have to ask Sean all sorts of these types of questions in the future.
Ask him about the hitbox. Because I want to see if it's still layer mapped like that. Because that's what they talked about. That it's true to your skin. So because in most games they'll have is squared out. So if you shoot across the chest or something, and there's part of the body that hangs out, you could actually like clip in between like the chin and the neck. It would hit them because it's a zone hit. They don't have zone hitting. It's a true mapped out supposedly.
I assume they use multiple hitboxes in other games where it's kind of like a upper body one maybe. And then
they region it. I mean, it depends how detailed they want to get. Some games are like complete arm. Others are like wrist, hand, whatever. I know in Armor they use the same type of vector mapping to where it's like it's all part of your body, and then it decides like if this is a piece or a component of the body. Maybe your entire arm only has so many hit points versus your leg. In other games, they'll do like foot, ankle, knee, the whole deal, and I'm like, it's a little much, but whatever.
Chris Roberts would never settle for that.
I think that to a certain degree, like hitboxes can be a little bit more fair. You know, for example, if there's a skinnier character, heavier character, that kind of thing, and that's why a lot of games probably still use them.
That's absolutely why games still use them because they don't want a person to be able to manipulate the game to make a smaller character frame or do something else, and then have that advantage over it. You know.
Maybe they just lower female hit points,
Well, no, can't do that because you'll have every female gamer over here. Why do I have less hit points than a guy? What's up? Why you want to make my character run slower than the guy?
I was joking.
Well, I know, but you know it. You know it would happen. It'd be like, what?
Oh God, yeah.
And I'm just like
here's more theory crafting. Yeah. More theory crafting. Will a female character be able to carry more guns than a guy or less guns than a guy? Because from the physical appearance, they don't.
No, just as many guns. Just many guns. Maybe even more. Maybe they could hold more.
They can. Yes.
Yeah. And we won't get into. We're not going to make any carrying stuff to the kitchen jokes either in here because we don't want to hear all that.
I have so much. I have something so.
I know. We get in so much trouble. We get in so much trouble.
It's about what we were talking about before we went live.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Damn it.
And if you pay $19.99 now, you can see the pre-show with Mitauchi. It's like,
where do I sign up?
Oh wow, yeah. So just to go through more, they're talking about, like we were saying, the animation sets. They imported thousands of animations transferred from the male character to complete the female animation sets. So they made sure they did the ones that make her look feminine still in movement, and they're able to do all that stuff. But they imported a lot of the same ones, just put it to that frame and wired it in. They talked about the converted helmets. That way they fixed all that so it wouldn't have the disappearing aspect of that. Bunch of engineering, AI stuff. Talked about more missions that they've worked on for 3.0 missions. I mean, I don't even know how many missions they planned on having now. They had a punch list that said originally, but I don't remember what it was.
I liked watching that whole mission system, man. That was interesting.
I did too. I like how they link it all together, and then you can see the detail aspects of how they path it, and then they give you choice. You know, it's like choose your own adventure. Is this the path? And it opens up ding, 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 these options, but you lose these others. And I like that. But I used to be a big choose your own adventure book kid when I was in grade school, I think. Like the books where you could choose. Do you want?
Yeah, the ones like go to page, you know, if you want to do this, go to this
page,
right?
Do you open the door? Go to page 38. Do you run away screaming like a little girl? Go to page 60. And either way,
those are the best books, dude.
They were great.
They kept me engaged.
My teacher wouldn't accept book reports on them, though. I don't understand. It's like, it's a book report. They're like, well, you can't do a book report and choose your own adventure, but I can tell you about my adventure. It's very personalized.
I like it.
So that's the way it goes.
You're like senior thesis.
Exactly.
I've done it on one of those choose your own adventure.
Yeah, totally. I mean, So, okay, and then we'll just highlight some of the Mega Map stuff real quick. Because I don't know. Every time I think I have the Mega Map definition down per CIG, I feel like it's a little different than what it was before. Okay, so my original understanding of the Mega Map is it is your perceptive area around you as a player and how object containers and other assets and stuff stream into your realm of I know this is here and my physical awareness and stream out of that area without having to have load screens. That was my original understanding of what it was. And it hasn't deviated that far from it, but now they're saying, well, it'll lessen load times and eliminate load screens. And I'm like, okay, I guess it's the same thing.
Well, yeah, they had mentioned that was going to be part of it as well.
Yeah.
But I think the stuff on the back end is where I was starting to try and figure out exactly the major difference in where the time saving is. So like say you're going into Star Marine, you're going to be loading everything into memory, everything from memory into what you need, as where the server is just going to be like, you need this, 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 and this. You don't need everything being pulled from memory. This is what you need right now.
Yeah,
and so it cuts down on the load time by telling the computer that it needs less materials in order to make
And that's what they said there. They said the Mega Map doesn't load all at once, but empties and streams the new content as it's presented to it. So that way it flows in and out and drops it and brings the stuff as it needs to table it. So that's pretty cool. Whereas like a game like Far Cry or something back in the day would preload as much as it could. So if you decided to run this way, it was already in the memory of the system. And as long as the Mega Map...
They can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, I think they can. I think they can do that in Mega Maps. It's just dependent on the server's computing capabilities and ability to deal with transfer of changing the signal or changing
how fast they can do that transfer. Just like
exactly. Yeah, essentially how fast it can do that, broadband-wise and computing-wise. Yeah. It just has to be able to react fast enough.
Thank God I got my DDR4. It's like, load the table, unload the table.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll work. Because my biggest concern is once you add that sort of perceptive stuff, okay, if my computer's not top-notch performer and yours is, I'm going to stream in and out that content at a different rate than you, thus causing some sort of, maybe not desync between us, but desync between the environment. You're going to see shit on a better computer faster than I will.
That already happens.
It already happens, but I think it's going to happen more so because what you have in a traditional FPS shooter is like what they said, it's very front heavy. You load the entire map, right? When you go into Battlefield or Call of Duty, you load that whole thing while you're setting up the game.
That is happening at once.
At once. And so that way, no matter if you have a badass machine and I have a weak machine, our view distance might be different, but it knows where everything is. So where I run around, you run around, the map's all there. My concern is if it doesn't stream in well in this and we're jumping around or anything, maybe there's certain physical bodies or ships or AI or anything that's not streaming in for me as fast as you. You'll see the hostile ships before I jump there. I won't. I jump in there, boom, I'm dead. Stuff like that.
Or it's you versus him and he sees you first.
Yeah, and he knows, I have as a ship, and I don't even see him on radar yet because I didn't perceive or stream him in as fast.
Once again, that depends on how it's all set up.
Yeah.
Is it designed fast enough? And then they could also do a thing like imagine the concept of like cell phone towers.
Yeah.
Where you're unhooking from one, getting the information, hooking onto the other, and getting the rest of the information, and never losing contact.
And that's true.
You're never ever hooking up to either of them because cell phone service sucks. But
there you go. There you go. Cell phone service in space sucks times 40. I think that we won't know an answer to it until they actually implement it and we test it out. But it's something to look for to see if maybe it might even cause more desync, or it could work to our benefit and cause less. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
At least not as players. We don't know until we get into it.
Yeah.
Says
want Star Network.
Yeah, no doubt. Mega map for multiplayer is complicated by the sheer numbers of players that might visit the same level one time. And they were talking about, and I don't know if you guys caught this, but I could have sworn they said thousands of people again. They dropped that when they were talking about the instances. And I'm like, I know you're talking theoretically at all, and maybe we'll get there eventually, but I quit dropping the whole thousands of people in an area, zone, or instance or anything like that, because I think it's just... I don't want to be disappointed. I just know that it's not something they're going to hit right away because it's just way out there. We can't even get past 24 right now.
Yeah, it's going to be it's tough, man. And like I said, that's what I kind of referenced earlier in my whole R&D heavy tech.
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest things. Can the game actually? We have all these great gameplay elements, right? So we've got mining, the capital ships, and scanning, and exploration, but can the network handle it? That's
I mean, it's just going to be using a lot of the same basic technology that even World of Warcraft sort of developed. It's just a matter of different having to deal with bigger assets. But the way that World of Warcraft does it, I mean, if it essentially is a lot more people than they say. I think they are going to be able to fit thousands, but they're going to be spread across the entire verse.
Yeah,
it's not as if you're going to be in one instance. And then they're still going to have multiple servers because you don't want everybody there. It's going to be too heavily populated if that were the case.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But I mean, one of the things that they mentioned was the whole notion of they're only sending Delta events or whatever through the network, right? So it changing something. But dude, when you're flying a ship, you're changing your facing constantly and your velocity, right? Like if you're like me on the joysticks, they're just
and that's also goes into the point where we still have the turret issues on the ships, right? There's no way for your gunner to track anything because you're all over the place. They can't respond. It doesn't really lead your gunner into the target wherever it is and keep you oriented. So it becomes a problem in those levels as well. They talked about the Mega Map scales from a single player mode to multiplayer. And what they meant by that is you could go from a swarm all the way over to like a Star Marine Last Stand without having to reload the map in the system at all. Because it will stream in. So, where we get that load bar. Mm-hmm. Right there when we're changing the entire game modes, which we don't have a problem with. We accept that. I mean, you're going from one hold, like the PU, over to Arena Commander. They're saying they're basically going to start eliminating that. You'll just be like vroom, into the other area because you'll just stream it in. So you won't have that preload even on that ever.
But you're still going to have to click a button, of course.
You'll click a button, but you'll just go there because it'll already be there.
No, you think it in the game. The game responds.
They think it.
Yeah, well, one of the things I noticed, even though they were talking about the new, they're like, okay, we're going to have new mega maps, and they're like, look how fast this is going to respond. And then I tried it out for myself, and I'm like, well, let's see how much faster it really is. And I'm like, it's really not that much faster.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I had a really good computer, so maybe I didn't know notice the difference.
I don't think some of us suffer nearly as much as other people do on the loads. Because people always complain about load times and stuff like that.
My slow M.2 drive.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have SSDs, but I don't feel like, even if I have to wait like 5 to 10 seconds, I'm not waiting like minutes or anything. It's not,
Mitauchi, I'm 100% with you. A lot of this stuff I just don't care about. I care about gameplay tech.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, yep. And I feel like they're trying to accommodate a lot of people that don't have the robust machines that they need in order to run this game, and that's awesome. I appreciate that, but I feel like some of that stuff's more towards the end handle than worry about getting everybody to have a robust machine to handle it now, fix now. But I mean, if it's on their path, they know the path they're in. Me, I'm not a game developer, but I'm just, I don't know. Some of it seems like it's unnecessary to me, but it's probably just because what I care about, rather than what the real deal is.
A lot of people do care about it.
Yeah,
just not us.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, that's good. I got $6,000 worth of computer equipment here. I'm okay. Just make the game
to
go.
tell you the truth, character customization, I don't give two shits about.
I don't either.
Really don't care.
We all look the same. I'd be happy enough hauling cargo right now today. I mean, you know, sorry, ladies, F the female character model. Give me some shit to do in the game verse, and I'll be all over it. And
so,
then you know.
I'm putting in a ticket right now to make sure the males have long schlongs, you know. We can adjust
Dong
the
slider.
Dong slider confirmed. I think Disco confirmed that already in his stream. Yeah.
Oh, guys.
That's great.
I like it. But no, I don't care about a lot of those things. But that's not to say that those things aren't important and that a lot of people do care about it, because they do. Just, to me, it's not important.
So you wouldn't mind playing Star Citizen as like a female orc or something from World of Warcraft?
I don't care.
I don't care.
Not in beta, not alpha beta. I don't care. I mean, I really don't. And I understand what they're going for their fidelity over quantity of everything else. But I'm ready to test these game mechanics, because here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid we go into the game. They drop these game mechanics on us, and they've already got the fidelity. They've got it all planned out. They got the entire equipment, the prospectors there, all this stuff for mining. And I'm like, well, this sucks. You need to change this. And they're like, oh, we've already planned all out, done all the stuff, because we haven't tested it while they've developed it. We've tested all the graphics, stability, ships, but we aren't testing the gameplay to see how that works as a group and then have them iterate on it. So people are talking about delays as far as art goes, right? And basic mechanics like netcode. But what happens when it's not the netcode? What happens when the game mechanic itself is fundamentally flawed, and when they'd roll it out to us because we didn't do any white box testing on it, right? Any trades and stuff. What happens when that all needs to be scrapped and redone again?
Well, you saw the flack they got when they introduced the radar system before they even showed it.
Yeah,
to
and they're
us,
like, "Oh, that's just a infancy, whatever." But it's more because, hey, here's your complete radar system done, and we're just, you're not.
I mean,
swing.
Every time I'm playing Star Marine, if Sean Noonan drops in there, I'm like, "Get rid of the radar, please, get rid of the radar." And he's like, "Yeah, well, no, it still needs to be worked on. No, just get rid of the radar, please."
I love my radar. Don't take my radar away. I play 100% off the radar when I play Star Marine. I don't even look at the screen except to get my final shot in.
But that's because you've been trained to do that, just like all of us have. Because when you're presented that, you have to take advantage of it.
I would like to see a no radar mode, though. Just do customization where there's no radar. Do customization where it's like one death. And then all the people that complain about Star Marine and say, oh, it needs to slow down, it'll slow way the fuck down when you have one life and no radar. It'd be like Campville. Absolutely. People be having log cabins of fire out there going, I ain't moving. I'm hiding in this spot right here, waiting for life to come there.
Dude.
Yeah.
But then everybody's camping in that one's movie.
But that's what's going to happen anyway, eventually in the PU, right? Unless there's something really sweet that we want to break in and get, nobody's going to run into Korea with snipers all positioned somewhere random you don't see when you have one life. And then you respawn like on some moon or planet, like way the fuck a system or two over.
That's exactly the thing. When death matters and you don't know where players are, things slow down. So
slow down.
Star Marine, its pace has nothing to do with the animation or the game.
And that's my concern, Texas. I don't want them to go in and artificially slow it down. Like they artificially sped up getting into the ships. That was needed.
Yeah.
Because we were really slow getting up on the Hornet and stuff, and people would shoot at you, and you'd be like, well, I'm just generally climbing up this ladder, It's like, whatever. So what they did was they made it so when you're climbing in and out of the cockpit, you're immune to gunfire. Well, that's an artificial thing, If I'm sniping and the guy's getting out on his ladder and he's taking his merry time, I won't be able to blow his head off. If I'm
slow game combat down by putting meaning to death.
Yeah. And that's how it will happen, because if they go the other route and they mess with the animations, or they say, oh, you need to reload slower or all this stuff, you already reload like fucking turtle salt compared to other FPSs in this. It's like, let me clean my mag out. I'll reload the rounds in here, and I'll put them in the gun. And
as a Texan, I can plead to this that I can reload faster than you doing stuff.
Well, and how about this? We've talked about this a lot on the show for the past few weeks. People gave me crap in Star Marine because I wouldn't go for my backup first. And I'm like, you reload at the same speed as you get your backup. which shouldn't happen in FPS. Your backup should be faster. You should be able to grab your sidearm faster than reload your rifle, because that is the entire purpose.
Sidearm, I agree.
Yes.
Second rifle, I do not agree.
No, not second rifle. But if you go to the pistol, the only reason to go to the pistol is because in most FPSs, when you're out of rounds, that's your backup. That's your choice. You go over to your pistol, and that's where you get in that fight to finish a guy off. Mm-hmm. And in this one, it's not.
From a realistic perspective.
Which raises the question, why wasn't this done properly if it's all mocapped?
That's a good question.
If it was mocapped, it should have had.
Maybe when you're wearing dots and leotards, you can't draw your down on your secondary that fast.
They didn't have John Wick doing a mocap for him. They
didn't have anybody that knew how to use a gun, obviously.
Exactly. They didn't.
I think they actually had some like former military guys. They said and stuff.
They did.
They did. So that's how they got the breach and clear AI. But I think the mocap was more for the AI stuff than it was, and then they worked on the animations to make them look smooth and all that. But I think they've worked the animation look smooth so much, that's what slowed down the reload. That's what slowed down some of the stuff. I don't want to be Call of Duty reload. I don't want to sit there and see CSGO where the guy's flipping out his knife, flipping out his gun, flipping out his knife, flipping out his gun while he's running around.
Jesus.
I mean, because that's what happens. It
is.
But I think you should be, I don't know, like a quarter second faster going to your sidearm instead of like reloading your rifle. Basic stuff like that. So make me make a command decision when I'm engaged in the game of what I'm going to do, rather than I never use my pistol ever because I can reload at the same rate as it. So why would I do it? Unless I'm out of ammo, I guess. It's the only time to do it. And then throw those fucking grenade indicators in the trash, please. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So
they're pretty bad.
You want to get rid of radar, but if I pull a grenade, it shows you where I am before I throw the grenade. Hey, I'm in the hallway, two floors over. I'm like, what is that about? It's like it's not even going through the air. It's not like
because two floors and one map over.
Yeah,
literally the opposite side of the fucking game.
Yeah, it's grenade.
It has to do with the way that they fixed the problem before, because before they would have the grenade indicator and you'd be able to see it like all the way at yellow if you were at All-Star.
Yeah,
they didn't put like a distance thing on it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, let's just put a radius. We'll just have it by radius. Well, that's not the solution.
Most games, though, when it's a grenade indicator, it just shows you like an arrow, like there's one over that way. They don't show like paint the design of the grenade, and it's like, here it is.
Where it's gonna land?
Where's gonna land? Like it looks like I'm playing volleyball. Like I can go up for a bump or dig, and like I'm gonna put it back over the net to you. Here comes the grenade. I think that's a big disadvantage. I will say though, since they modified grenades, I love the way they throw now. I love the way they feel a lot better than they did previously in 2.5. When you throw a grenade, I can kind of bounce it. Well, in 2.5, they were really bad grenades. Or did they?
Where were the grenades?
Yeah. Did they have them in 2.5? Didn't they have them in the last builds? Or was it only in 2.6?
They had them in 2.5.
You're thinking 2.6 versus
2.6. Okay.
Yeah.
So versus that. Yeah. Because now I think they feel better to throw, and people complain, well, they bounce all over. Well, it's like a fucking pipe bomb. They're not like a ball grenade. They will bounce like that. If you throw like a cylinder like this, they're going to go, who knows, when they land end on end. But I like the way they throw now because I feel like I can actually get them in the ballpark. Unfortunately, everybody sees where they're going, so nobody ever gets hit by them.
Yeah, I know. So, you got to cook the hell out of that thing, and even then, like any attentive player is going to see it.
Yeah. I think the fuse is too long on it.
Yeah, 8 sec. It's a hard 8 count. It is a long fuse, but that's what a real grenade has on it. It's usually about 8. But
all of my suicide deaths disagree with you, Kuro.
Yeah,
for accidentally cooking too long.
Well, I think we cooked too long though because it's like indicated, and we have to get it precise. It's not like you can take a 3-second cook and throw it 5 seconds. They can still dodge it. You have to basically make it land in their face and explode at the same time, or else it doesn't work.
Yep.
So, and there's some guys that are really good at it. I am not one of those.
Dr. Drones.
Dr. Drones, I feel like I love playing against him, but now he's like, I know where he is all the time because he's always cooking the grenades still, right? So now it's like, hey, it's Dr. Drones. There's a grenade going off.
It just feels so cheap sometimes.
Yeah.
When it's your primary weapon of choice.
It's true.
Fucking drones, man. I saw a video of I want to say it was a guy named Revok. I don't know if you know him, but
no,
pretty good Star Marine player, and he decided he's just gonna play a couple rounds melee only. Hit to the head, 1-hit kill, you're dead. And,
really?
Dude, he run around. Yeah, he has a video like 2 minutes long, just highlights of the kills themselves. Just kills everybody.
That's
melee.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I've gotten some good. I've got really.
Yes.
Yeah, I've gotten really okay kills with melee before. Now it's like I hit a guy 5-6 times before he'll die. It seems like with melee, and then probably
I know it's like 6 body shots or 1 headshot.
Yeah,
it seems inconsistent.
Very much
for some reason.
But I haven't killed anybody with melee under like 3 hits ever, unless I've shot them too.
Yeah.
So
it's usually my finisher.
Yep. It's usually because I forgot to reload my weapon, and I like shot a guy with the was remaining on the mag, and then I have to hopefully beat him down with the butt of the gun before he gets up. So,
Kuro, it's your finisher. So what, like twice a match then?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I hardly even play Star Marine anymore. It's just I'm like I just got over it. I'm like I just can't, and so I started going to the PU, and I'll do a couple of rounds of Star Marine, but. Yeah,
I have the exact opposite problem. I go in the PU and I can't stay in there more than 5 or 10 minutes before it crashes. So I can't finish a mission. So I guess I could fly over to Korea for a while, but I get kicked out all the time and it crashes. And this is with server loads of 5 people. So
yeah,
I haven't been in the PU. You can see my chat. I've been in the PU forever. But it's like, when are you going to the PU? I'm like, all right, here we go. Nope, I'm done. Let's go play a different game. So
Dude, for some reason or another, I can get lost in Star Marine. I can play 3 hours and
yeah, I don't have a problem
still
there.
playing Star Marine.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. All right.
It's fun.
Guys, and we're going to go to this last part here, but if you have questions for anybody on the panel here, all you have to do is type !questions, plural, in chat, and it'll take you to a forum, and then you can actually place those questions in that forum, and then we will answer those during the second part of the show. Additionally, we will be giving away a $25 gift card to either Star Citizen, or if you don't want to buy more spaceships, we'll also give you an Amazon card instead. So your choice. So winner's choice. So make sure that you're getting in on that, and we'll start that raffle when we start the question and answer stage here. So make sure you got some questions, or you'll just stare here and look at us for like an hour before we give you anything. That's just the way it'll go.
Yes.
All right. So this next part here is we were going to dive into is just regarding the stream today, which is the happy hour stream, which there wasn't a lot, again, to talk about with that. It was interesting, and I did find it very interesting to me to see how the lumberyard system works on the back end. But I know a lot of people in chat were kind of meh. He's trying to make the basketball. I thought it was great, personally. But I thought it was interesting because they're in the Bay of the Javelin, which has a basketball goal for those you guys that don't know, and they were trying to make it to where they can actually shoot hoops and record it and do all that stuff inside during the happy hour. And I think it's Calix, right? Is in there? I think that's Calix. He was having a hell of a time with certain things because you can tell he's feeling the mounting pressure because you have to go through and debug everything and try to make it happen and all that stuff. So you can tell he was like. He was having some problems with the ball and whatnot, but we all had fun in chat there, and I think there was over 1,000 people still watching. It was really good, and it was enjoyable. What do you guys think about, because we also know we've seen shots of like the Idris or some of the other things as air hockey. We know some of the ships are going to pool tables in them. What do you guys think about the mini games and stuff that they may or may not have, once we go towards a beta or a launch type cycle? Do you think those are going to be something that players are really going to enjoy and want to do? Do you think they're just going to be props or what?
Well, I think when I play Star Marine already, I try to play pool with my gun, and I'm upset that I don't have a pool cue.
There you go.
Exactly. But someone did mention to me that they thought we weren't going to be able to play basketball, but obviously that's not the case.
Maybe.
And then I can't remember who said this, but if you look at the air hockey table from one of the ATVs, like last week's, I think.
Yeah.
And then like the separation between where the player stands and where the actual puck, like the holder disc, thing, and then where the goal is just massive. So it would be like this far away from you. So the table was improperly constructed. So I'm like, is this really going to be playable? The person's going to have to.
Don't worry, we'll probably just push back the entire Star Citizen beta for another 3 months. Because
they're going to have
to release.
Yeah,
air hockey is not ready.
We got blockers.
The javelin on that one.
Go down the list. It's like your blockers are like parlor games, air hockey table, and chessboards. What?
Yeah. I think it's a neat thing, to be quite honest. I think it's just one of those neat touches that without it, you don't notice that it's gone, but with it, it's just kind of like, oh, wow, I can actually play basketball. It's just one of those neat things that really kind of, keep the immersion. I hate to use that word, but, keep the immersion in.
Well, especially on long trips. I mean, we're talking about traversing like a solar system from one end to the other is 40, 30 minutes. Most people won't travel from one end of the solar system to another, let's be honest. The jump points are probably going to be more towards the middle of the systems. But still, even then, 10, 15 minutes here or there, going multiple systems, well, that's great. You got your navigator, you got your, your pilot, and you got these guys on duty and standing by. Maybe I'm the dishwasher. What the hell am I going to do while we're traveling around? I don't need to do anything.
Or you're a pilot.
Yeah.
Of a smaller ship that's on board, right? Like,
absolutely.
You can tab out, or you can play basketball.
There you go.
The basketball. I want tools and shit I could throw at my, shipmates and stuff. Doesn't want to run around going, what are you doing?
Toy's the type of guy to lose at a horse game and then space everybody out of the flight deck because pulls the thing out and everybody gets sucked out of the side of the ship.
Yeah. I'm curious. Doesn't the one of the ships has a stripper pole in it? Is that a mini game too?
That'd be funny if it was.
I think one of them does.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
You would think that
I love how it's like, you're putting that up for consideration.
Yeah. We're gonna have to go through and who can find the ship with the stripper pole on it. Somebody can do it. Somebody can do it.
Oh man!
I thought one of them actually had one. I can't remember.
It might. I don't know. I don't.
One of the Star Marine maps has it.
Yeah, it was Echo 11.
Yeah, it does.
It
always slows you down too.
Underneath Bravo, right?
Something like that.
But
I think I understood what you were saying there.
All right, guys. You guys got just another few minutes here to pin in some more questions. We only got one question so far, guys.
Wow.
Need more questions. So for every question we don't have, I'm going to take $5 off the giveaway. So if we don't have at least 5 questions for the cast here, we're going to start knocking some of these off. But we are going to take a small break here for our guys because I need to go get another beer out of my fridge. So we're going to take a 2-minute SpaceBro break. We'll be right back. You're going to look at this beautiful screen, and we're going to get beverages and stuff, and we'll be right back here. Have some questions ready for us, and we'll continue the amazing SpaceBro show in just 1 minute. All right, guys, we're back. As you can see, we've all returned. So we now have a bunch of questions. Good.
Amazing.
Amazing how that works, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let me get my brew open here. And we'll get the raffle started.
What are you drinking?
Heineken.
Nice. Good choice.
Yep.
Good choice.
It's my go-to usually. I never start out with like a straight Guinness. I got to have like 3 or 4 before I go like a Guinness or anything like that.
Yeah.
I got a buddy. He drinks straight
chug
Guinness
Guinness
like off
day.
the beginning. I'm like, pfft, no, sorry. All right, so Kamikaze
We can do
Demut
Guinness
has a question here. He says, why do you think the new patching system is not implemented yet? Is it not high enough priority, or do you think they just can't get it to work? Then by saying it was close to being done back in October, I want to help test, but I'm not downloading 32 gigs. Makes sense. So what do you guys think? Any thoughts on the patching system? What the holdup's been?
Yeah. I think it's not done. And the guy, I had heard somewhere that it wasn't quite done. It was close back in February, but the guy, there's literally 1 or 2 people that work on it. It's almost no one.
Yeah.
And he was on vacation for
That's
like
right.
a month.
That's
And
right.
so they couldn't do anything. And so, yeah, I would just assume it's not done.
Yeah.
One thing I can say is as far as like their motivation, they're 100% motivated to get it done because it costs them money for all the bandwidth that everyone uses every time they release a patch.
Mm-hmm.
It costs them money. So they're motivated to get it done. I think it's exactly what Kiro says.
Mm-hmm.
Toy?
No, I think the same thing. I think it's just not ready yet.
All right. Do you think they actually have withheld? I'll add on to this. Do you think they've withheld pushing patches out because they don't have the patcher?
No, I don't think so.
Well, it depends how you want to define that. Like they're waiting to include more content because, like you're saying, they want to include more content before.
Yeah,
giving
maybe
people a patch
there's
because they don't
something they
want them
could
to have to download
fix
it.
or something. If they had the patcher out, they would patch more often or do something else. But because they don't want to make us download or them spend the money to download 32 gigs to fix something that's not a full 32 gig build, maybe
Yes.
that might slow it
Yes.
down or hold it back.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
with that modification there, I would
Yeah.
also say absolutely yes.
Yeah.
I think that they'd like to patch more often with
Yeah.
smaller things, especially fixes like the fucking party UI.
So I'm willing to contribute another $100 to CIG. We will install chains on the desk and no more vacation time for anyone until the Delta patcher's out, I say.
Yeah, I used to joke to Sean Noonan. I was like, I just imagine, like, because he was always sick and he just went into work, and I'm like, is Chris Roberts just have you there, like, chained to the desk, and he's got like a cat of nine tails whip behind
There you go.
just saying, get back to it.
Back to it. Work harder. Absolutely.
I feel like a lot of them work some long hours.
And I think a lot of them are never asked to work those hours. I think they just really want to work and get the stuff done. It's kind of like when you have a project of passion that you know needs done, or if they do the whole like you're the person or your department is what's holding up the other department from getting done. That would suck.
Yeah.
Because nobody's saying, oh, you have to work 80 hours this week. But if you got your stuff done, all these other guys would have their shit out too. Then it's kind of like puts that pressure on you anyway, where you're like, God damn it, let's get it done. So
I agree. I do.
All right. We have Bennis says, well, Fug, with Capture the Flag coming popular again in real life, do you think that we'll be able to play basketball, pool, and maybe even capture the flag? That would be dank as fuck.
I want hut ball in this game so bad. Star Wars Old Republic has that hut ball mini game. I love that thing. They really need to get that in Star Citizen. That would be fun. That's kind of like a capture the flag type thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've
I mean,
never played
capture the flag it's like that's not a big ask, to be quite honest. That's just
It's like Star Marine with a ball.
I think the problem, or at least the reason that I don't see them implementing it anytime soon, is they have trouble filling the 2 game modes they have. I don't think they're eager to add
Do you
another.
guys think Sata Ball's still on the table, or do you think they're going to scrap it? Been really quiet about
I
Sata
think they're
Ball.
going to release it, just potentially not even when Star Citizen releases.
I can see them holding off of
eventually.
It'll get out eventually.
Yeah,
they're going to need mini games in there too.
Yeah, I can see them holding off of it till after release. Definitely. All right, Phantom Killer wants to know your favorite ships in and not in game. So we'll go with Kuro first. Favorite
Dragonfly.
ship. Okay.
And
how about one that's in the game that you really like?
One that's in the game.
Yeah.
He's like the Dragonfly. You guys don't have 3.0 yet?
Yeah. Hacks.
I guess the one that I already have, which was actually given to me, but I'd rather have a Carrack. Probably just be the Cutlass.
Texas, how about you?
Man, it's a question that I've now been asked so many times that it's easy to answer, I think, and that's the Super Hornet and the Javelin.
Okay.
To this day, what excites me the most about Star Citizen is the big, fleet battles and that it's multi-crew. So give me a Javelin.
Yep. Toy?
Sorry, I missed it.
Favorite ship both in the game right now and not in the game right now?
Favorite ship?
Oh, you went robot. Oh, my ears.
Sorry.
It's all right. He does that to pay me back for when I do it.
I don't know. I don't have a particular favorite in the game. Out of the one that's not done that I want is my Reclaimer. I want to see the big claw.
Yeah, that'd be a cool ship. Right on. In game for me right now, I'd say the one I like the best. Oh, that's hard. The one I use the most is going to be a Super Hornet because it's the killer. I hate the fact that it's my go-to ship, but it is the go-to meta ship because it's going to kill and survive more than everything else that's flyable right now. I would say not in the game, my Polaris for sure because I can't wait. I'm the same way. I want that multi-crew, but I want that hunter-killer, blow shit up, Dorito flying. I want that ship in there all day.
Dude.
So.
That ship is sexy. It really is, man. I'm
super hype about it. I got my T-shirt over here too. Had to buy the player shirt.
Wait. Hang on. That was from the pre-sale, right?
Yeah.
Where the hell is my T-shirt?
Well, I bought it on top of the ship. You had to buy it. Oh. You don't get it with it, but they all had a limited run of them. I'm sure they'll re-release the manual. Oh, I got the manual. Yeah. Manual's,
okay, but not the T-shirt. I thought it
was. I got the manual here. It sits on my desk.
Nice.
And then I got back everything off the desk. Mitauchi, go for it. And I got the T-shirt here.
Nice, bud.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think my manual sits on my desk at work because I had it delivered there. Yeah. And every time someone comes in, they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
No, my manual sits right under my Mr. Robot hat.
Nice.
Mr. Robot.
Yeah. Came out of Loot Crate. It's like, oh, cool. Mr. Robot.
Zero, the other left.
There you go. All right.
Well, it's reversed.
Yeah. Yeah, for you guys and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I got the camera reversed. Because the mic's actually on my left, but it looks to you the other way. Yeah. Let's see. Who is a better driver in Arma? TexasSkulls or Stimson? Well, I'll leave
Neither
Texas
pass.
to answer this. So yeah, I was like, there's only one person.
Neither pass.
I'm gonna say if it's earlier on in the evening, I would say it'd probably be Texas. If it's later on, I would say it'd probably be anybody else.
That's probably true.
I would agree with you there.
Just based on the streams I've seen, that would be my judgment call on that.
I don't get drunk. What are you talking about?
Don't drink and drive, kids, especially in video games.
Especially in Arma.
Yeah. With new ships like the Buck coming online, how do you think CIG will balance the weaker ships like the Gladius in the verse? Great question. Great question. Who wants to start? Let's have Toy answer that one to start with.
Say it one more time.
Mm-hmm. He's totally watching Conan right now. He's like worried about what's out there. He's
things are getting heated here.
See, I told you. I caught him.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, I said with new ships like the Buck coming out, how do you think CIG will balance the weaker ships like the Gladius in the verse?
I don't know. I don't know. They're going to have to do something. A total redesign, another stinking pass again for everything.
I disagree. I don't think they need passes for it. I think at this point, well, it depends on what you mean pass. Like if you mean actually changing things or hard points, I don't think they need that. I think they have so much to tweak now between speed values, acceleration, power usage, etc. that I really think it's just going to be a huge balance pass that they need.
I agree.
But they want they want dog fighting. They don't want you to just sit there and one-shot somebody. You know what I mean?
But they also want some of these ships to be able to be fighter bombers against larger vessels. So they have to give up somewhere. I mean, you can't have it all. And there's so many margins between this. If you want a ship that can actually hurt a Connie and maybe even hurt a sub-capital, but yet not one-shot a small ship, you're going to have to make it slower than shit and sluggish. There's no way to do it. Or make your fighter pilot guys smart enough not to drive directly at its guns. There's no other option than that. So,
but I think they can accomplish all that through tweaking, let's call it XML values, right? Like your speed coefficient or your weapon power use coefficient.
And I wouldn't,
whatever it is.
And again, we judge all these ships based on what happens in Arena Commander, right? Because we shove all these ships in Arena Commander, we're like, oh, this is the end all be all. That's not practical. Because most people, if you're in like a Super Hornet and you come up on the scan and you see like 10 constellations on scan, you're not going to go, oh, balls out, I'm in there. You're going to probably be like, nah, I'm one fighter by myself. Yeah, I'm badass, but why not jump in there? In Arena Commander, you're in a fishbowl, so it's kill or be killed, it doesn't matter. They aren't taking into consideration people not choosing to engage based on the ships they have, which is something you'd experience more in like Elite Dangerous or EVE Online, where you have a full universe, and most people aren't going to take a small dinky ship against something that's really nasty. Yep. I don't want to see them continually nerf ships to balance them out against dogfighting, because not everything's going to be a dogfighter. It's just not going to happen.
I think we'll see some major balance passes as 3.0 or 3.x come online.
Yeah, because I will be really disappointed if my Polaris can't one shot a fucking fighter ship. You know what I mean? It's we need to balance this out. That Super Hornet needs to tank more because the Polaris just one shot it. I'm like, well, it should. I mean, it should. To be honest, the Connies should be raping most of these small ships if they come in their fire arc, but they keep on bouncing stuff back. So, yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
We need our turrets fixed. Thank you.
Sometime, someday. All right, guys, before we ask the next question, we're going to go ahead and get this beautiful $25 gift card raffle started for you. So make sure you're getting into that. We are not going to add our automatic gold VIPs because we want the people to actually come and watch the show to enter this. Another caveat to this is you do have to follow both of our guests tonight, and you can get that by putting !! guests in chat. So please make sure you're a follower of both Texas Skulls and Kuro, which I can't say his last part of his name at all. So, because it's I don't know, it sounds like a bad massage to me sometimes, and I feel funny when I say it, Kurosaji.
Don't put that image in my mind. I don't want to give you a massage.
Really? My back's shaved. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, didn't even know that either.
You've got a couple rebels. The one sovereign, he refuses.
There you go.
It's okay, one sovereign.
There you go.
We're good. We're better off without you.
We are better without him.
Yeah, but make sure you are following them. I think it's plural guests.
Didn't I do it right?
I don't know. The people are putting singular and nothing's happening. So
wait, what?
There you go.
For what?
For the command.
Look, I know a command.
It popped up there. Perfect.
There
Want
you
to
go.
make sure they're there. Toy's like, I know a command. Good job, moderator. Good job. All right, guys, keep entering that. We'll go ahead and on with the next question. Let's see. What do you think the new Banu ship will be, and like what size and what role it will fulfill? If you're just guessing,
It's got to be small. They got a big Banu already, named. This one will be small.
wouldn't it be crazy if it was like a Connie sized, like something different we wouldn't expect? Because we're all gonna expect like it'd be a fighter, right, or a scout ship. What if it was like
a light trader or a fast trader?
Yeah, something like that. That'd be kind of interesting. Like
I have no idea.
Yeah.
The Millennium Falcon.
Millennium. And what price? Now you're reaching, brother.
With an M.
The Enterprise.
It's gonna be over $200 no matter whatever it is. And everybody's gonna bitch because they're gonna be like the Banu's only $250, and they're gonna be like no problem.
Inflation.
No problem. The band is now 350. Go. And everybody's going to be mad at you for saying that. So don't be the guy. That's right. Yeah, I don't know. I know they're trade heavy, so the only thing I can think of is some sort of scout, comm ship, or a light trader. That's would be my guess.
I really think a light cargo ship. A fast light cargo ship.
Well, Nexus just said a smuggler ship, which sounds possible.
That would be cool. I could get behind
Millennium
this
Falcon.
one.
There you go.
Yep.
That was a cargo ship, wasn't it? Or am I crazy?
It was a smuggler ship.
It was a smuggle ship. Light freight trader.
Yeah, you smuggling space drugs. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kuro's produce.
Yeah. I don't have that on my desk right now, I swear.
There you go.
Next.
No.
Next question. Let's see. Which minigame would you want and in which ship? So of the minigames we talked about, or one that you might think of yourself, what minigame would you like to see on the vessel of your choice?
Oh, this is easy. I want to have basketball on my Dragonfly.
So is that like wheelchair basketball? Where you like a portable goal you can put out in space? And
I don't know. I don't know. I've thought about getting the Carrack. I don't know what it has in it already. I definitely would like the air hockey or the pool. I think the air hockey would somehow work better in game. But
okay.
I love air hockey. That's one of my most favorite games.
Dude, give me some NBA 2K17, right? Or sorry, 2K20.
I was gonna say there's no console games in any of these, right? I don't. You think that's intentional on Chris Roberts' thing? Like they're not gonna have any consoles anywhere in the ships.
Freelancer.
Yeah.
You'll be able to play Freelancer.
That would be amazing.
Commander.
If you could play all the old games of Chris Roberts sitting inside like the character, that would be really cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that, honestly.
Hard luck, bro.
The ones he has licensing for anyway. I think EA still has the rights on his Wing Commander games and stuff. So they
well, it doesn't like it can be Wing Commander, but
it'd be Roberts Commander or something.
Yeah, just call it like Roberts Commander or something like that. You know how many versions of Wing Commander came out for it? There's knockoff.
How many times do you think they're going to redo that one before he releases it? Then it's like, oh, we got to hold up the game.
I don't like exactly how this is.
Yeah.
Got to remake the.
I always wanted Maniac to live and not die in that one Wing Commander. So we're going to redo the entire plot line. See if we can get Mark Hamill on board. Let's do it.
There we go. Wing Commander air hockey. Wow.
It'll be It's Squadron 42 Inception. It's like the game within the game within the game within the game. You can play.
That's sort of how things are right now.
They are. It's going to get really bad though if you ever have a game that's competitively televised in the game of people gaming. So they have their own esports inside the Star Citizen verse.
You're making my head hurt.
There you go.
I don't have enough trouble with people coming to my channel and they're like, "What is Star Marine compared to Star Citizen?" And I'm like,
so it'd be exactly like if you had Sata Ball, except you're actually playing. Those guys were on an esports team and they were playing LOL inside the Sata Ball arena inside the game, and so just kind of melt down. It'd be perfect. Let's just do that.
My head hurts. Stop.
It has to be really toxic too.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
Next question was, why does Gecko win so much?
We talked about this before the stream. Actually, it's that sad.
Yep.
It's rigged.
Conspiracy. He's paid off every major bot producer.
Nvidia said I just went to plaid. It's like, you just went plaid, dude. You went over the limit. I think it's because he still has some Twilight Hooju, because he was when he had the second body double for Edwin or whatever inside fucking he just told that story before inside the Twilight series. He's actually an actor. So that's why, because he sparkles. We'll just end it with that. He sparkles, so he wins more raffles. Good job. Good job, Gecko.
We figured it out.
That's it. And then, boy asked, how insulting is it to... I had to say it correctly. It's spelled like that.
It's got to be Dan.
Yeah. I said, how insulting is it to CIG that Mass Effect Andromeda has made gorgeous female models and CIG doesn't even have netcode? Well,
what?
I would argue with you. Have you seen the female models in Mass Effect? Especially when they do this face.
Oh my god! Don't
I'm like,
don't
what
make
the
that
fuck
face.
is that? It's so bad, dude. They're like, they got entire YouTube videos over like the female models, or they walk with their shoulders. Like, I'm like, what? I'm like, and this is exactly why they're so scared in Star Citizen of releasing a bad motion model, because if you want to see why, look at Mass Effect Andromeda.
If the animations are that bad, that sounds like worse than GoldenEye.
They are worse than Mass Effect 3 from 2007. They're bad. I mean, it literally looks really bad. Really, really bad.
Well, on a more serious note on that, dude, they've had their shit in place, though, for so long now, because they've had so many Mass Effects. Like, they're still using the same engine. Star Citizen is ground up.
Yeah, they just put textures on the old engine, and it's obvious. You can see it, even though it's a different company working on it. It's whatever. Yep. All right. And Big Smoke says, "Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?"
Kurosaji.
Is this a riddle I'm supposed to know?
And he says, "Absorbent and yellow and porous is he."
Still don't know this one.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to leave it out there for next time then, guys. Let's go ahead.
I can't answer this either.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Pass. I don't get where they're going with that.
I don't know. Maybe chat can answer for us one of these times. I don't know who is it.
My circle shirt.
I don't think that's right, Dom. I think it's somebody else, but that's a good guess.
Yeah.
Good guess.
No, I mean,
Chris Roberts.
Chris Roberts?
Chris Roberts. That's it. God. Yes.
I was going to guess Aaron Roberts, but
you
never know. Their brothers could be close. Derek Smart. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get ready to draw this beautiful raffle, guys. We have 53 entries so far. If you haven't entered, you need to put exclamation mark SpaceBros in chat really quick so you can possibly win this beautiful $25 gift card. And it can be for Star Citizen, or if you're just like, damn it, I'm not giving these guys any more money, I want to really give it to Amazon instead. That's fine. They make the engine that Star Citizen runs on, so I'm okay with that too. So either way, it's fine with me. So we'll give you one moment to get in there. Yeah. A lumberjack and I'm okay. It's a great song. And we are going to close it right about after he said that, Slumber Yard. We'll go ahead and close it down. All right. And we are going to go ahead and just pull this thing. We're not going to do a claim word because you guys are lucky assholes tonight. So good luck to everybody.
That's the claim word right there. Lucky assholes.
There you go.
Good luck, Flying Gecko.
Dude, if he wins.
Nope. George P. 357 wins. Derek Smarty Pants. Nice. So George P. wins. He is the wiener. Congratulations, George. And since he is a subscriber, I'll give it to him anyway. But you guys need to make sure he follows your channels, because he does have to follow your channels.
I will check.
Yes, I will check.
Sweets, he says.
Yep. Sweet. Yep. You got Gecko.
I'm not sure he follows yours, man.
You got Gecko's all bent.
I swear I don't rate.
Triggered him. He's like, troll face.
Oh god.
That's so good. Yep. That was worth right there. Yeah, absolutely. All right. I will send you a message. You simply reply to that, and we'll shoot you over the card of your choice, good sir. Thank you for participating. And, guys, thank you for being here tonight. I really do appreciate it. It's been fun. It's been a good time. Kuro, why don't you tell them where they can find you, when you'll be on next, where they can, all that stuff. Tell them all about it.
Yeah, there's a couple things. Of course, Toyu just posted my channel. That's where you can find me. I usually do a stream early in the morning at like 9 a.m. Central time. So if you're an American, you probably know what that means. If you're not an American, figure it out. I don't know. And then I do one at 4 p.m. as well. And so just break it up. So, and then one last thing I sort of wanted to say, since you have the links there, I'm not going to provide that. We do an Addicted podcast on Monday, and this week we actually have Sean Noonan from CIG is going to be there. So if you have questions for him and you want to drop by, you definitely should check it out, and you might learn something about the game or something like that. That's going to be on Biomechanical's channel. So I don't know if I'm allowed to post links. Can I post links?
Yep, I just permitted.
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna want to go there. Go give Biomechanical a follow, and on Monday, it's 4:30 Central Time, America. We'll be doing that interview with Sean Noonan.
Awesome. And make sure you have lots and lots of ship questions for Sean, because he loves it when people ask about his discipline.
Yeah, if you know anything about Sean Noonan is the lead developer of Star Marine.
Yep.
So,
Level designer, I thought.
yeah. What did I say?
Lead developer.
Well, he pretty much does everything, is what he says. He's like, if it comes to Star Marine, he's like, I do everything.
That's right, rest of CIG. Sean Noonan handles the entire project. You heard it here first. That's what he's telling.
It's like only developer on Star Marine.
There you go. He handles it all. He does everything from the art to the bullets coming out of your guns.
I'm sure that the CIG people will be there watching him very closely to see if he breaks any NDA. So
yeah. So don't hang him out to dry and give him a rough time. Just ask some questions. That's the CEO, Sean Noonan. There it is.
Yes, I love that.
That's perfect.
Yep.
We got Sean promoted right here on the SpaceBro show. See, it was that easy, chat. Good job.
Yep.
Good job.
So yeah, if you have your questions for him, come check out the show.
Cool. Definitely. I'll be tuning in for that for sure. Texas, what you got? Where can they find you? What's going on? When do you broadcast next since you've been gone? Tell us about it.
I think I can handle that. I don't know. It's kind of tough sometimes. So you can find me. Usually I attempt to start streaming around 9 p.m. Central. Oftentimes that does bleed into 10 p.m. Central because I'm usually cooking dinner or some shit before I start streaming. But yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/TexasSkulls. One word, 2 S's in the middle there. And yeah, like I said, I'm trying to stream every day between now and DreamHack at the end of April. So yeah, just come looking around 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central. Also, of course, you can find me on Twitter at Texas_Skulls. That's about it. I stream, I get drunk, I have fun. Hopefully you guys have fun.
Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff.
I'll whore myself out and put my Twitter as well.
Yep.
You saying I'm whoring myself out, Kiro?
Yeah.
Oh, it got deleted.
He wasn't fast enough on the trigger. You both timed it at the perfect same time. Just copy pasta his stuff for him there, Toy.
Yeah, that works.
All right.
Copy
Making me
pasta
work.
his
All
stuff.
right.
I know. He's like done like 3 things today. It's awesome. It's like this is the most work he's put in like a month and a half. It's crazy sauce. And while you're doing that, Toy, why don't you tell him what you're going to be up to with the rest of Space Bros, or what you got going on, or all that stuff?
Well, I'm waiting around for you to keep working on the web stuff and the stuff we're working on, but
I know.
I'm always lurking around here, and of course in Conan, as usual, representing Space Bros here in Conan. So
yep. Yeah, I didn't want to throw the web stuff on you yet because I knew you had to put in those 3 commands tonight inside the chat, and I didn't want to overwork you.
I'm wiped out, man. I'm done.
It's all he's tapped out. Good quality work's hard to find these days, kids. I'm telling you.
Toy.
Calling my union rep right now. Where's my phone?
Fucking Val called me and said, "What's up?" 3 commands. That's overtime.
The agreement said 2.
2's on contract. That's it, guys. Well, guys, again, thank you so much. You know me. I'll be streaming throughout the day tomorrow while we're working on some stuff. We'll be back on Sunday, and then we'll be announcing our new podcast that we'll be doing as well for the beautiful helping streamers learn to stream and do all that stuff with, of course, my beautiful expertise, because, I know everything about streaming. No, just we want to help people out, and there's a lot of people that have been mailing and writing questions in, so we're going to do a whole new podcast similar to this, but it's going to be more of a roundtable where we discuss different aspects. We're going to be bringing in different reps from game companies and also people from places like GameWisp we've been talking to, XSplit, some of the other platforms to help answer your questions and talk about what services they provide, and then helping you redesign your streams the way you want to have fun, make money, or, just chill out and not get banned. It's probably the best thing to do with them. So either way. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, that's all we got for tonight. Thank you for watching again. We appreciate it. We'll be back on next week, Friday, 10 p.m. CST, with a whole bunch of new peoples. And until then, we'll see you later. Thanks again, guys, for being here. Appreciate it.
Hey, Mitauchi, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Good night.
Yep. Peace out, guys.
Yep.
Boop, boop, boop,
Good show. Thanks, Mitauchi.
yeah.